Hello and welcome back to this week of the Tosser Pod. This week I had my mate and reality TV star connoisseur Joshua White. Josh and I have a pretty bizarre friendship, I would say. He's very easy to wind up and I'm sure, like others in my life, finds me very, very annoying. But then at the same time, we can have these really genuine, vulnerable moments talking about our feelings, and that's pretty much how this episode goes down. I also think that's what makes Josh a cool dude. He's very good at making you feel relaxed, and that's definitely how I felt throughout this whole app. We cover MAFS, BTS, his Heterochromia, fan photos, and his obsession with Disney. I threw him a bone there because I know he loves it. But anyway, let's crack on. It's the Tosser Pod. Josh White, let's do it. I wanna be a part of it. New York, New York. Thank you. Welcome back to the Ollie Skelton show that everybody rates. The acronym for that is Tosser. I'm a tosser, and you are listening to the Tosser Pod, or watching. If you're watching, we're making eye contact right now. I'm luckily enough to be joined by none other than the top of the hill, Joshua White. Josh, welcome.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Dude, I wasn't going to have you, but I ran out. I was really skim on people. And what's been funnier is like this, because this it hasn't actually aired yet. My first episode hasn't aired.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what exactly it is. And I tried to get the Wiggles the other day. I nearly got the Wiggles. Do you know the Wiggles, Tommy?
I do know the Wiggles.
Are they popular? Are they popular in?
No, I only know them for living in Australia.
Is that right?
Yeah, they don't.
Because I was going to bring them on for the UK people, but clearly I thought they were popular everywhere.
I think if you got Bluey on here, or someone from the cast of Bluey, that would blow up.
Like the cartoon or something.
Do you know what Bluey is?
Of course I know, mate.
Okay, hey.
Does he wear a funny hat?
No, he doesn't.
The Pope. Yeah, so I really thought I had some big wigs coming on, but you know what?
You're framing this so well. Thanks, man. Like I feel like it's just the biggest warm hug I've ever received, and a welcome.
That's all I ever want to give you, Joshy. So Lyndall, right?
Don't. I mean, it's just. Yeah.
No, we won't. Look,
it's a long time ago now.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So this happened to me the other day. So, do you know Anzac Parade?
Yes, of course.
So I'm walking down Anzac Parade.
Yeah.
And I see a family. We've recently entered this world of the occasional person might want you to be in a photograph with them.
Absolutely.
It's a bizarre concept.
How do you find it?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It kind of like sometimes, like we did a meet and greet the other day. We had to do this. We had to do this Channel 9 thing. Shout out to Channel 9, by the way. And
Channel 9.
We love you. Please don't sue us. And we had to take photos with all these people.
Yeah.
I was worried nobody was going to come to this thing. Nobody was going to come to this thing. And so we get there.
Did you have to cap it off and just say, look, no more, I can't?
No, they got to a point where the people from Travel Guides, which is a reality show in Australia, they came and everybody congregated over there. And I was like, that is what 7 years worth of television will give you in comparison to 3 months. So you can kind of get the vibe, right? When people want to take it, they do this. Yeah. They do the little look. Yeah. They might have the phone in landscape. As opposed to portrait, and it's like nobody holds a phone like landscape unless they want to take a photo with it. Now, so she gives me this. I get the look from the person. She goes, photo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. No worries. And it's her and her mum and her sister, and so I'm like, what are we doing? We're doing a selfie, and she gives me this strange look. What? And she's like, photo. She wanted me to take a photo of her in front of one of the monuments at Anzac Parade.
So it wasn't you at all. You were like...
How to be humbled from this whole experience in 5 seconds. And you know what the beauty of it was, right?
Yeah.
Nobody had to know. I could have gone with that to the grave.
No, I'm glad that you shared that. I had a similar experience. I went... It's a local pub, and my mate wanted to go and watch the footy, so we went and watched the footy. And I was there for about the first 2 hours, and no one said anything. And I thought, oh, this is actually really cool because and just get on with life. But then
I don't believe that.
no, but
I bet you were like, my ego.
No.
I need
But
that.
then,
I need that validation.
No, I have never wanted that.
Okay.
And then after the first 2 hours, the first like group of like girls came up to us and they go, "Are you Josh off MAFS?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
And then you went, thank God, in your head. Thank God.
No, and then they wanted a photo, but then it was like the floodgates then opened on everyone else that was kind of like being nice about it.
Yeah.
And then they would just come up and talk, and it doesn't get it doesn't get normal, or you don't get used to it. But the way that I kind of like compartmentalize it is that they enjoy either the person that you are, or the or the storyline that you had, or they saw something of yourself in that, or otherwise they just want a photo with someone they've seen on TV. But
Sometimes I've had people not even know. They just see other people taking photos and they go, I'm like, do you?
100%.
And they
Love that.
and they go,
Yeah.
photo. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Who are you going to show this to?
No, well, when that happens, I just normally joke around and say, "Oh, look, I'm a male model. Like I'm older, an old male model. Like I do stuff for Lowe's and Big W. Like,
All
they'll
right.
probably pick me
Big
up
and
from
tall.
there." Yeah,
More so the
something like
tall.
that.
It's a bizarre thing. It's a weird thing, and yeah, that is just one of the little that's something that happened to me. Just going through my everyday life, it's like in my head, like my
Yeah.
other voice said, "You would, bro. You would think somebody wanted to fucking take a photo." It was they were European. They were like photo.
No. I disagree with you because I feel that you've I disagree about the way that you've read that. I think that you've been probably the most humble person out of it, not wanting anything out of it, and just like happy to get on with life with Tani. So I think
I'm going to stop you there.
yeah.
Not wanting to get anything out of it, mate. Look at me.
Oh, I mean, look, this is a whole other thing.
We literally have two cameras, two fucking lights. We're in fucking headphones.
I'm forgetting that they're here already. No, look, from my opinion, I just see that as you being like, like you're trying to navigate it and be humble at the same time. But like, I kind of think that you and Leighton are, the best of us in terms of, like being humble and being genuine.
The only difference between me and Leighton is $20 million, and I've always said that.
and a Porsche.
And a Porsche.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's look. I would disagree to your disagreement.
Of course, that's the nature of our friendship.
I think my, if I'm speaking honestly, I think my whole life I've been my whole life I think there's been a part of me that is seeking the validation from others, and it wasn't until I would say it's so funny the way that the way that the world works, that I was doing a lot of therapy, and I would say I just kind of squashed that part of me. Like I felt quite content in where I was at in my present living. And it's the beauty of the beast, right? When that happens, they'll say, "Remember that thing you used to love so much? Well, it's back. Would you like it?" And yeah, no, it's so no. I definitely seek validation, and there's probably a part of me that wouldn't be sitting here doing this right now if I wasn't fucking if I wasn't like I don't know. It's a bastard of a thing, your mind, isn't it? And so it's all about just channeling it. And sometimes your mind is so bizarre that it'll give you two different eye colours. I want to know. Can you just have a look at Can you have a look at that one there?
Sure. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but
so it's a baby blue and a diarrhea brown. And what I love. So can we talk about one of the funny behind the scenes from the reality show we were on?
Reality show, yes.
That's what it was. It is reality.
It is.
And anybody that says it's different is a liar, except Alyssa, lovely lady.
And Taylor, I think Taylor's pretty cool as well.
There's a funny story regarding those beautiful coloured eyes of yours, but I'll say this regarding your eyes. You keep trying to get away from this story. So you've returned. It's Josh is back. Yeah, it's the boys' night.
Oh, the boys' night. Yeah. That was cool.
and I'm talking to you, and I'm introducing to you my friend Rupert
yeah.
Bugden, and fan of the show, by the way. And
He's a big fan.
So I'm like, did you know that Josh has 2 different eye colors? And he goes, obviously. I'm looking right at him, but then I say, okay, here's name a person, somebody else that has different eye colors. The King is Spin.
Did Shane Warne? I think I remember this. I didn't think that Shane Warne did have different eye colours.
Mate, come on. Yeah, he was known for it. That and the googly.
I did not know that. Because every time, whenever I've said I've got different coloured eyes, literally no one has ever said, oh, what about Shane Warne?
That's because they only know him for the bad, all right? But I said,
typically what they say is David Bowie, and David Bowie actually didn't have different coloured eyes.
hold me closer, tiny dancer.
That's Elton John.
So anyway,
yeah, okay, good segue.
So I'm trying to speak about your eye colours, much like I'm trying to do now, but I'm getting stopped at every freaking hurdle.
No, mate. Hey, absolutely. It's called heterochromia. So there's partial heterochromia. There's I think it's like central heterochromia, which means it's around the pupil, and then there's sectoral, which means it's section. So actually, in my my brown eye. No, in my blue eye, I've got a piece of brown in it at the very top. I'm
trying to talk about the situational story, not the bloody disease that you got to live with. So anyway.
I can see normally, just to clarify, I'm 41, I can still see perfectly.
Josh, the story. So we're at the boys' night, blah, 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 Shane Warne, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I start talking about, Shane Warne could spin the ball because he had these really fat fingers. Now, as I'm doing that, a producer off camera says, Ollie, Rupert. Producer off camera says that.
Yeah.
Alex wants to see you upstairs. Alex wants to see us upstairs, right? Now, for those that don't know, Alex is the god.
Yeah.
She was the goddess for 3 months. Alex and Molly are their names. They're the executive producers on the show. Terrifying people because they determine your fate. So I walk up the stairs. So it's me and Rupert up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's you can.
I remember at the venue. Yeah.
You can compare it to going to see the headmaster, but it's essentially what that was. Like there's not.
Well, it was always. Yeah. There was.
Yeah. And Alex goes. And I just like the optics of it. I'm not even up the full stairs. Okay. There's already there's a hierarchy in full flight. She's at the top of the stairs. Me and Rupert are at the bottom looking up, and she goes, Ollie, I love Shane Warne. I don't give a fuck about his eye colours. Talk about the show. Who's coming? And Rupert, drink some water. And we go, yes, ma'am. And I said, and I'm like, what do you want me to say? She talk about who's coming. I'm like, yes, ma'am. First thing I had to go down there and I go, Harrison, bet you're scared about Adam bloody coming, aren't you? But look, those beautiful eyes, they got me in trouble. That's the moral of the story.
Thank you. I've never gotten in trouble off them.
You never got you never got in trouble?
No, when I fill out a form, I have to put down that they're blue and brown eyes.
Not the eyes, Alex and Molly.
Yes, I did the first night.
I remember one time, right?
Yeah.
So it was when we were doing it was one of the final nights. You went there, by the way. But it was one of the final dinner parties.
Thank you.
It was one of the final dinner parties.
3-week veteran over here.
Look, you
side character energy. Thank you.
So anyway,
later in the show.
Yeah, so later in the show, we're doing the question box. Right, we're doing the question box. Comes up to Bronte's turn to do the question box. She goes, I need a pee. And so she goes and pees. Yeah. And everyone's like, well, she's a freaking star in the next 30 minutes. I need a pee too. 6 people go out to pee. And I'm like, I need to pee so bad. So I'm the last to go and pee. So I'm last to go and pee, go to the toilet. And there's this hallway where the toilets are and then where you go in. And right down the end of so I go pee, come out of the toilet, and it's just freaking Molly It's Molly in her pink jacket, boss. Just
Yeah. They
Bitch.
always dress really
bitch,
amazingly.
I'm a boss. Then you know that one. And so she's down the end, and she comes to me. She goes, "Ollie, hurry up!" And I start doing like 50-meter dash, and she goes, and this is when I was wearing my pink jacket number. I was
with the white shirt.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Ollie, drink some." No. She goes, "Ollie, get here." And then she goes, "And drink some water." And then and she goes, "Nice jacket, by the way." So I really liked them. And I still do. And I never not liked them. And that's a fact.
There was another situation with I won't say which one, but either one, where after I've left the show, because how I left, as you know, how I left was not how it played out on the in the episode. So in the episode, I think we were like group number, I want to say maybe 7 out of 10, and Shannon and Caitlin actually left before us. And I remember how like emotionally taxing that scene was. But I remember then when we went up on the couch and then I left. And on the show, it makes out that I sit back down. And I remember when I watched the episode where they make it out that I sit down and I kind of like smile. And I'm like, well, that's not what happened. Because what happened, right, is that, as you know, afterwards I get up, I leave. And I say, look, I want to leave. Like, I want to go home. And so I'm sitting in like the catering area with Harrison and Dan sitting with me. And then one of them comes up to me and says, you know, we all saw what happened. And then she said, anyway, I just want you to know tomorrow you've got to be out by 10 o'clock. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, right.
But like...
the disconnect of what the trauma that you went through.
Yeah, well, because at that point I was still like, I was very emotionally distraught. I was still crying at that stage. And she was just like, yeah, we all saw it. But anyway, yeah, you've got to be out by 10 just to let you know tomorrow.
Look, yeah. I mean, look, they probably say it all the time, right? They probably say it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to have gratitude, bro, overall.
Hey, yeah, no, I absolutely have gratitude. I mean, you know, like even though the events of the experience were somewhat negative, I still think of it as a positive experience. Like I don't think of the negative things, you know, like.
And you know what's happened?
Yeah.
You've become a little bit influency.
No, I haven't.
And I'll tell you. Have you ever seen Talking Funny with Ricky Gervais, Jerry Seinfeld, Louis C.K., Chris Rock?
I did see that. That was like 10 years ago.
It was great. Yeah. HBO did it.
Some very spicy content in that, which I don't think you could do today.
Sitting on the dock by the bay. But what...
Yes, I know that reference. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not even touching that.
I hope somebody that's watching this knows what I'm talking about. Beautiful, like great, funny, hilarious. But what they do at the start of that is they get into Ricky Gervais about him becoming very LA. You know, he's wearing tighter shirts. He's manscaping more.
This is true.
He's essentially, there's probably a light shade of Bondi Sands on there or something. Like you've become, there is a glow up. And we'll get the pictures up. We'll get the compare the pair right now. But there's, you rock up to. Thank you for helping me move, by the way. You told me you'd just done biceps and triceps, all so you could get a photo of you looking incredibly large. Meanwhile, I'm on my freaking phone looking like a simp. Didn't even know the dude was there. You have actually gone like this to the camera and
There's a picture in that series of pictures where I'm holding the trolley like this and I'm looking at the camera and I just remember looking at it just going, I looked like I was in beast mode then. I was like, what the fuck is happening there? That was funny.
Yeah.
The glow up, right? I want to squash this because everyone talks about the glow up. The reality is that when I was on the show, I was going to the gym for the first time consistently every day. And then when I came off, I wasn't working. So I went back to going to the gym every day. So there was that. Then the other thing is that I was mindful of my exit and I had I don't know whether you'd call it shame, but, you know, like I was mindful of how I left and I wanted to distance myself from that, right? And then obviously I have kids, so I didn't want to be the person on the screen. So it was just, that was all. I was channeling all of that into going to the gym, and I would go to the gym some days for like 3 hours. Like I'd do an hour to an hour and a half of cardio and then weights and then come home and have a nap and then eat. And it was awesome not working. But I mean, I'm working now and I've started to maybe put it on a little again.
Well, it doesn't show. It doesn't show.
Thank you. That's very kind.
No, but it was. I don't really know where I was going with that.
You were saying that I'm an influencer now. Like yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to know, your High Smile collab. When is there a plan for that?
Look, I've got a crooked tooth. If I could get someone to help me with that, that would be amazing. But other than that,
Veneers. You heard it here first. Josh, he wouldn't mind them. Okay, so I did have a question.
Absolutely. What do you got?
How much of an inspiration is Harrison to you? So that's a question on the page here.
Okay.
No, I was just
Is
joking.
this a question from an audience member, or is this just one where you're like, you know what, I'm going to ask this and try to?
No, this is a sent in question that's ended up on my notes.
Harrison isn't someone that I aspire to be. I do think that he is flawed like everyone, and I see through those flaws and try to see the humanity in him.
Shall we extrapolate on the villain kink? So the other day I said to Josh on the phone, so everybody that was villainized within the show, Josh seems to love more than regulars on the show. I love Shannon. He's the best. No, we won't get into that.
We won't, because that was a long defense of Shannon that night.
We did get into a little bit of an argument with that.
You were very annoyed that night. So I understand the reason why.
Can I actually tell you what annoyed me? Something that you said that annoyed me?
I think that you came into the night annoyed. I don't. If there was things that I said,
I was looking for an argument.
Yes.
Shall we? Okay. Let's talk about this.
You can air whatever you want to air out. It's fine. I feel that we've quashed it, but I'm happy to talk about it if you don't get upset again.
See that? See that? Does everybody see that? That's what he does. If you don't, it's like, I don't want to say the word. Starts with a G.
Oh.
Ends with an ass lighten. That's funny, actually. Ass lighten. But you see, if you don't get upset again.
Are you hitting me with the trump? Okay, sure.
If you don't get upset again, then
China.
Rosie O'Donnell, she's a pig. No.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, it's a great place. Top 5 Pixar movies.
I don't think you can do a top 5. I think you can say Monsters Inc., Inside Out, Ratatouille. Brave. I actually really liked Brave. I know that that's not a very popular one, but Brave. And Wall-E. I think actually Wall-E would be my number 1 maybe.
Right, no, Wall-E is good. I'd have Shrek number 2 probably. And
don't do that. I'm not Lyndall.
Dude, no, we're not doing little drive-bys on your previous girlfriends or not girlfriends, depending on where you read. We're not doing little drive-bys like that, okay?
She just likes Shrek. I'm just highlighting that she likes Shrek.
Shrek, I would put in my top 5.
Well, when it's not a Pixar movie, but it's DreamWorks. And Jeffrey Katzenberg, who used to work at Walt Disney, left and started that studio.
Whatever.
Sorry, okay.
Okay, so have I got anything else?
I regret not saying Up, but anyway.
To be honest, it was just a lead-in for the Shrek thing.
I love it how you just these are just things to antagonise me, to do things that you know are going to annoy me when you say Shrek.
What were we talking about the other day? What were we talking about the other day where I said I'd never seen any of the DC films or something about, or the Marvel films? You were talking about Avengers.
I can't remember, but it's every time, like I've said it to you so many times, I feel like what you do is that you call me late at night, right? So I know by you calling me late at night, I'm not your number 1 and I'm not your number 2. I'm somewhere down past, like I've called like my family. I've obviously called Rupert, and like I've called my mates in Perth, and then you're like, oh, like I've called that guy that I'm going to meet for a meeting tomorrow, and then I'll just be, oh, what's Josh doing? Because you know that I'm single and that I'm at home. And so you call me. And what I feel you do when we talk is that you pour all of your day's frustrations into the call. And all you do is you wind me up, you purposely say stuff to make me angry, because you know by making me angry it gives you joy. There is something really weird. There is something really weird in
there
you.
is something about that. There is like this. It's
is
like,
all true.
dude. It's like sometimes I'm playing T-ball against year fours. I could say the most, like the softest little slight, and I just want a little back and forth banter, and you go, oh, well, what is this about, eh? You're here to bloody offend me again, aren't you? Party. and I'm like, that to me, that's a ding. Freaking see you later.
I think that's just a difference in our ages where we probably wouldn't do that. But I remember growing up, like you get hazed all the time.
Even when the haze is, can we not be so like
calling things what they are? Okay, sure.
Okay.
We wanna do 2023 where
banter. I don't even like saying that.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Well, I will say this: you think you're number 7. I do. Look, I enjoy the call. And it's the reason why it's so late is it's because it's a trigger.
You're going to the gym.
Yes,
you're walking home.
But when I'm going to the gym, what do I usually do? Boom. So I call
of the
you.
big dog.
Yeah, I think of you. So I give you a call. Please don't sell yourself that short, please. Honestly, I really enjoy our chats.
I do enjoy our chats. They're always fun.
But that's all we got time for today. It was really.
Thank you. It's good. Again, this is what he literally does over and over and over on our calls. Just ribbing me about everything.
I wouldn't say rimming. Maybe ribbing's probably a better word.
I said ribbing.
Oh,
I used the B in that sentence.
I don't know what's on my mind. All right, so
that's on your mind. I'm worried about your weekend, big dog.
You don't have to be. Okay, no, but I do want to say, for the record, for people to know, Josh is he's not what he seems on camera. He's an amazing person. He truly is, and I'm very thankful to have him as a friend. And so thank you, Josh. Thank you for being such a lovely friend to me.
I've always maintained that you were a great guy. You are a great guy. As I said earlier, like Leighton and yourself are really kind of, very high up there in terms of people that I think very highly of. The way that you've conducted yourself, and the way that, the chance to say this in front of you, when I watched the show, because as you know, I wasn't on there long, so I watched a lot of it as a viewer. When I watched you on the show, I was just so impressed with the maturity that you showed, and then it continued to elevate as the show went on, right? Like, I think one of the major knocks of yourself and some of the other people who stayed later from a male perspective is that people would say that they didn't hold people to account, when I know that you did hold people to account. But I also, I liked seeing your maturity and how you approach things. And I always want to give you credit for that, man, because, as you get older, you do appreciate friendships a lot more. And I just remember the times when you have called me and it hasn't been like a call like, hey, how are you? Like as Australians, you go, hey, how are you? And there's nothing in that. But you've only ever asked me like how I am, from a place of sincerity, which is really rare. And I think that talks to the type of person you are.
All right, let's go off camera, have a smooch. Thank you, Josh, for coming on. I appreciate that. Those words are very lovely. Look, if other people pull out, we'll have you on again. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you
for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. You've been listening, watching the Ollie Skelton show that everybody rates. We'll see you next week. Josh, if you could just wave to the camera. There we go, like the Queen.
Toss it.